Okay, I have 7 p.m. I want to officially call the June 8th, 2026 Roxbury Town Council meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Council, I want to make, there was a typo that I made putting this together, so I want to completely strike 5. Actually, you have number 4, Roman 4, but it actually should be Roman 3. But whether it's 3 or 4, it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to strike it. Strike what number?
What number? Number 5.
5D. My bad. 5D. We're going to strike Roman numeral 4, even though it should be 3. We're going to strike that because that's going to be covered, council, under 5F, Roman numeral 6 down below. Okay.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I want to say is that under 5F3, where discussion and action regarding CDS in phase 2, where it says may require executive session. We're going to do the phase 2, the resolution number 2, in the clear. And then when we go to executive session in the end, we'll talk about the collector sites. Okay?
Okay.
So we'll leave the resolution in the clear. We won't get into the collector sites until the end.
Where's the resolution?
I mean, it's not listed on there.
Okay.
But we do need to talk about that. It's covered under there. Okay.
Thank you.
I
have one as well.
Go ahead, Kevin.
5G4 is removed.
They're a little premature now.
Yeah,
What are we doing with it?
it's removed.
All right. 5G4. All right. Motion to approve is amended. Second from Jesse. Discussion. I thought I saw Jesse's finger go up. He's on saw the finger. So okay. All right. So we have a second from Jesse. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carried 6-0. Sorry about that, Jesse.
Oh, that's okay. I usually my name is that's terrible thing.
Kevin, public comment.
We have none.
Okay. Okay, mayor's announcement. I just have one thing, and I want to bring it up, and I think most of us in this room are aware of the passing of Betsy Bainbridge on May 25 at the age of 83. And I just want to talk a little personally about Betsy. I served with Betsy we were council members together for 2 years. And then Betsy served on my town council when I first became mayor for 4 years. And I found Betsy to be an incredibly dedicated individual to the town of Harpers Ferry. She was very strong-willed, very opinionated, and she always shared those opinions with me, private or publicly, about policies and procedures. And I always appreciated that. She was, like I said, a dedicated person. She served Storm for 4 years as the Budget and Finance Chair, helping guide the town's finances through when we were not in as good a position as we are now. We didn't have the B&O taxes coming in like we have. That Patty has done an incredible thing with our B&O taxes, bringing in those money that she monitors. That didn't exist back then. We didn't have parking monies coming in. So those B&F meetings that were held were very, very challenging, maintaining the town's finances. And I think this town owes an awful lot to the contributions of Betsy. And I think, Kevin, you're the only one that really worked with Betsy on a council. I don't know if you wanted to make any observations about Betsy or not. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, this is the first I've heard about it.
I'm sorry. I'm surprised. Yeah.
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 just passed
I never
Right.
worked with, I didn't work with Betsy, but we connected. She grew up in Oak Ridge where I worked for quite some time. So we had a lot to talk about. We had two very different views of that little city. And it's one of those things that she just always accepted me and was nice. And, you know, I was from completely outside and she just accepted me as just me. And it was awesome. And I think there's a lot of that in this town. It makes the
Yeah.
whole place special.
Yeah.
You know, it's too
We-
bad she's gone.
We had an event at Christian's house 3 weeks ago, and she was there with Steve. And she passed 3-4 days later. It wasn't after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd met and hung out with her a few times, and early on, she was one of the folks that did reach out to us when we came to town. And I remember talking with her when I was thinking about getting involved with town government. She was very supportive and gave some good guidance. And
Yeah.
even though I didn't know her well, she
Yeah.
left a big impression.
And I was going to add, the reason I'm here is because of her.
Yeah.
She thought I would be a good candidate to be in town council. So
Well, she kept me on my toes. I will tell you that.
A lot of us on our toes.
Evan will attest to that. She sat right there, I believe, where Jesse is. And I did we watch her, and I'm looking at her non-garbage, and I'm saying, okay, there we go. All right, Jesse, what's on your mind? So anyway, God bless you guys. Kevin, you have any comments?
I have none.
I have two comments.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to thank the mayor for his newsletter, message from the mayor about Memorial Day. And I really appreciated that. That was a really great message that he put out. And I know it's hard every month to write one, but this one was more personal. And
Yeah.
it was really,
Yeah.
really touching.
Yeah, I have fond recollections of standing next to my dad looking up at him. You know, it was tough thing.
And then I want to talk about the music on the ridge. I want to thank Parks and Rec for their hard work. I know the weather was bad, but you had some awesome music there. And thank you for the park for letting us use the property. I'm sure we hopefully paid for it, or we will. But it was just a beautiful event. And unfortunately, the weather came in the beginning and kind of blew it up.
Yeah.
But people came back, and it was a fantastic event. So thank you.
Thank you for those comments.
And then one last thing today was at the the Bolivar Harper's Ferry Foundation, Historic Foundation today did a tour of the town for Black History. And a tour bus came all the way from Charlottesville, Virginia, where I came from. And Lynn also came from there. And on the bus was the mayor of Charlottesville. So, so it was really a neat event with 32 people on this bus. We were the first of 1 week. They're doing this for a week. So today was their first stop, and they're going to Alexandria from here to Old Town. And they're going to see more of the region.
Great.
So Harper's Ferry got on the map.
Thanks for sharing that, Christian. Yeah. Hilltop, it's a pleasure to have Laurel here.
Laurel Smansky, project manager at Hilltop Hospital. Good to see everybody. We've been doing a big financial push, trying to get all the wrinkles out. But we have movement, which is good. We're working on our bonds, issuing bonds for our tax incentive financing, and working with banks. So things are moving, which is encouraging.
What things?
What things?
Yeah.
Well, just what I explained, that we're working on our financial package.
So you to secure funding.
Yeah, things are moving. We're in the process. So yeah. So anyways, the second thing I wanted to talk about was there was something on the agenda, and Mayor Vaughn had contacted me about, what can you guys do to beautify the entrance to the access on Columbia and Washington. Of course, that was temporary access for the people, the public. And let me tell you, there's at least 12 people on the street at any time during the weekend. People are going up there, sitting, enjoying it. I saw a couple people have a picnic. Anyways, so we had a discussion, a team discussion, and we have a temporary entrance permit that's been approved, and you cannot plant anything, or I mean, it's pretty strict. You have to have a line of sight for when the trucks and the vehicles start to come. So that limits us, really doing any kind of beautification with vegetation. We're going to put some pea gravel down going through the gate, and I'm going to put back up the rendering of the hilltop showing the iconic turret. So we can close that item unless there's any questions.
Is there an ETA?
An ETA for gravel.
Those improvements?
For the pea gravel, or
Mhm.
We'll probably be getting it done in the next week.
How about the funding? What's your feeling on the funding? Like how long is that gonna take? You have a sense of that?
So many times I've given a date on this project, but it could be, a few months.
You don't think it's a year?
I don't think it's either. Yeah, I don't. So anyways, there's a lot of things, pieces going on at once. And as soon as we have something that we know, we have the loan signed and everything in order, we will be making an announcement. So.
Anything else for Laurel? Thank you, Laurel.
thank you.
Thank you, Laurel.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Superintendent? Welcome back.
Evening. Nice to be back. I have a number of things for you tonight, since I was not with you last month. The first stage of the grasslands rehabilitation work at Lower Bolivar Heights and Ash Farm was completed in early May. The herbicides used were Roundup and Candor, that's glyphosate, and 2,4-D and trifluopyr. There will be one or two further treatments this year, and they will continue to target invasive plants in those areas. People and pets should avoid those treated areas for at least 8 hours after they've been sprayed. And as a precaution, the park will keep those closures in place for 48 hours. We certainly appreciate the community's understanding, their patience, and compliance with those temporary closures. The National Park Service's Mather Training Center has been reorganized within the Department of the Interior. As a result, Anthony Hall, the former administration building of Storer College, will come under the management of Harpers Ferry National Historical Park. We are in the earliest days of planning for new uses at Anthony Hall. Initial concepts include a focus on interpreting the history of Storer College, office space, and flexible meeting space for park and community functions. The park has issued a request for expressions of interest to invite proposals for the adaptive reuse of Cook Hall, another former Storer College building. Interested parties may request a site visit in June and have until the end of August to submit their proposals to the National Park Service. The park has issued 2 permits to Amtrak for topographic and geoarchaeological studies around the Harpers Ferry train station. Work may begin by the end of this month or in early July. We do expect these permitted activities to cause some temporary disruptions at the train station parking lot. We will notify the community once the final schedule is established, which is not quite finalized between Amtrak and the park. Projects in Lower Town. Roofing repairs to the Durand Block on Shenandoah Street are complete. The front facade repairs to the Susan Downey Building on High Street are complete. And the Battle of 1862 Museum is reopened. There are new front steps to the John Brown Museum. That project is complete. And perhaps the one everyone cares about the most, the Byron Bridge temporary staircase is likely to be removed now, we're hearing, in early July, perhaps right after the 4th of July.
Of course.
The park shuttle service will resume once that happens between the Visitor Center and Lock 34 on the canal, back and forth until the permanent staircase is installed. And finally, if you haven't already heard this, on April 29th, the Senate passed legislation to transfer jurisdiction over federal lands on Schoolhouse Ridge between the National Park Service and Customs and Border Protection. Parallel legislation is pending in the House. It's been introduced. It's in committee. We're waiting to see how that turns out, but we are expecting at some point in the next year, we may see that transfer of jurisdiction take place.
So that's from you to Customs and Border Protection?
So
Or
this is over on Schoolhouse Ridge. This is all federal property.
Yep.
All right. So it's just a matter of who manages what.
Yep.
Right. So we are trading management responsibilities.
Mhm.
They're going to get, the legislation goes through, they will get 25 acres of what we now manage, and we will get 70 some acres of what they now manage, which is a net benefit of about 45 acres to the park.
Great.
Is there
On
a
the
map?
battlefield.
Is there a map of that?
There is.
There is, I don't have it with me.
Okay.
It was in the newspaper
Yeah.
or online.
Yeah, there was an article back in December, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's moving forward.
Superintendent, what's the objective of the Amtrak permits?
Both permits are for surveys and studies related to Amtrak's ADA, what do they call it? ADA stations project, which I think I've mentioned before, but I will go back on that. Amtrak has an agreement with the Justice Department, a settlement agreement, to bring all of their Amtrak stations into ADA compliance across the country. Harpers Ferry is one of those stations where Amtrak provides service. Therefore, we are trying to work with them to determine the best way to provide ADA accessibility to both the main platform on the eastbound and the more difficult to reach if you have any kind of accessibility issues on the westbound.
Yeah.
So they have to, working with the Park Service, they of course, it's federal land, and they're working with the Federal Railroad Administration, also a federal agency, so they have to follow the National Historic Preservation Act as well as the National Environmental Policy Act. So we have some compliance to do. These permits are related to studies that they need to undertake to better inform their compliance, their federal compliance.
And I think you had discussed it, and use the current subway that goes on the tying for that.
Anything else for superintendent?
Well, hopefully it doesn't impact service to Amtrak. I'm talking about they may drop it. It's gonna be so expensive to make that thing, that ADA compliant. You don't know that, but I'm
Amtrak
just,
project.
it's a little concerning.
Amtrak project.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
any council member have anything to report? Okay. Approval of minutes. You should have May 11, 2025.
2026.
Pardon?
2026.
2026, yeah, it's on.
Yeah, I slept through that whole year.
Big jackpot.
It's May 11, 2026 minutes. Motion to,
We'll move we approve the minutes as presented.
for second on the motion, second storm discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Now report Parks Tree Commission. Discussion and action regarding 2026 tree work plan.
Evening, council. Yeah, the reason this is on your site is that last regular meeting of the tree commission, we approved the 2026 tree work plan. I apologize, I did not get that plan to you until this afternoon. So if you feel you need more time to review it, completely understand. I don't think it's 100% pressing. This work, once approved, would happen once the leaves come off in the fall or early winter. But traditionally, this is approved in June, so we can work with the contractors to line everything up. It's, I think, a page and a half, almost 2 pages. Yeah, pages. Christy put most of it together. She's the most knowledgeable one. And we approved it in last month. So
It is unanimous.
it was unanimous. Right.
I move to approve. I did have a chance to review it. Thank you. I move to approve the 2026 tree work plan submitted.
I'll second it.
Second, Christian, discussion. I have just one question, Zach. Is there any work being done on the state's right of way?
So, there are a couple trees that Christie flagged that need to be either pruned or taken down that technically fall either on the border or just within the shared right of way. And contacted, was a contact you gave us a couple months ago. So I'm working with the state to draft an MOU that would bring to council and hopefully get that. I'm hoping for a long-term MOU that gives the town responsibility.
And that is common. They will issue a long term.
That's
Okay.
cool. So
But
I don't have any.
I would encourage the tree commission to proceed with that post haste.
Yeah.
Because we really don't have technically any authority on their right of way. And that's where it's done through their right of way division. And they're very amicable about that, so it won't be an issue, but I would suggest you get that thing moving along.
Is that all the way down to High Street too? Like it goes
Yeah.
high? Washington.
Yeah.
Washington and High. Yeah, they have a 40-foot right of way. So you get to High and that's 30 foot.
And so this, if the motion goes through, this approves the plan, but we're not taking action on the plan until later, so we'll have that MOU in place before we do any work on
Any
Washington.
other discussion, David?
Yeah, just you had a couple things you need to make lists on and everything, so that'll be. How's that? I guess Chrissy will do that. You guys will approve it. And
Tree commission will work together the data and then approve it, and then the list will be eventually end up on the new website. I hope, or at least a link on a spreadsheet to it. So we'll get it all sorted out.
Other discussion?
do we need to? So do we need to approve you guys making that list? What do we need to do there? Do
It's
we
on
need
the.
to contingent on you guys making a list?
If it's part of the plan, then it's bundled in.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Parks and Rec general report.
I have that one as well. Thanks to Christian for summarizing it. But our biggest update is that this past Saturday, we hosted the 16th annual Music on the Ridge event at Mather Training Center, or the Lawn and Store College. We especially want to thank the Park Service for allowing us to use that space, as well as Welsh Sound for the stage and managing the sound system, and all the volunteers who put in work to make that event go off fairly smoothly. At the beginning of the event, right, about 5 minutes after 5, we had just under 100 people there, more on the way. But within a few minutes, we had a thunderstorm roll through, and a lot of folks had to scatter. Many came back, although we didn't keep track after the rain because we were kind of scrambling to get things back on track. But we finished it out at 8 o'clock with a fairly strong group in attendance. So not sure what it could have been, but we're excited to have it. And it was really fun.
It was fun. No?
Yeah, good evening. And once the rain moved out, it was much cooler. So that was
The bugs weren't out.
the event came in just under budget, and we were able to collect $160 in donations before the rain came in. So, and I guess a few after. And the next event on the Parks and Rec calendar is we have a summer concert series, which will be at the gazebo, a much smaller but local music event at the town gazebo on Sunday evenings, July 12th, 19th, and 26th, from 7 to 9 p.m. Hoping to bring neighbors out, have a picnic dinner, just hang out, enjoy some live music. That's all.
Anything else, Zach? Thank you, Zach. Police Commission, not often do we have this on the agenda, discussion action regarding appointment to the Police Commission. You should have received, appointments of interest from Wayne and Michael Galecki. And this one is from Sharon Spriggs. Now, and give you a little bit of history on the Police Commission. It's set up by West Virginia Code. You have a municipal police department that requires under code to have a police commission. Specifies the members and the length of term. As I understand, roughly, Patty, it's 4 years, correct? Okay. Now, here's the problem with what we're confronted with. We have 3 members. We have Sharon Spriggs currently, we have Wayne, and then we have Bart Wheatley. Now, Bart being a member of the BZA can't be on it.
Right.
That's the vacancy. So Mikhail has requested to replace. However, all of their appointments are invalid after.
Well, it's supposed to be a 4-year term. Currently, all 3, it's expired on May 8th. Of 26th.
All three?
Yes.
All 3, because when they were initially put on, they were all given the same term. The West Virginia Code says the terms are 4 years staggered. So we have an opportunity tonight
Correct.
to correct that and then move forward.
So,
The ORC's been working on all the committees and commissions. I'm not sure if we spoke about this one. One of our goals was to make everybody the same term, 3 years.
yeah, but there's West Virginia Code prohibitions on some of those.
We're aware of that. That's why it's taking so long.
I think there were 2 of the bodies that we weren't sure how to resolve or didn't feel like we could resolve. And I think the Police Commission was one of those. Yeah, for sure.
So the Police Commission has 3 representatives. We have 1 representative representing the police department, and that's Wayne currently. We have another representative representing the merchants, and that was Bart. We have another representative representing the mayor, and that is Sharon. Okay, so the thought is, and Patty and I talked about this quite a bit, that tonight we can approve 1 for a 1-year term, another seat for a 2-year term, a 3rd seat for a 3-year term, and then when they expire their term, whether 1, 2, or 3,
Go to 4.
then it reverts to a 4.
Okay.
Okay? So I am proposing that we consider doing that. We put, we didn't talk people, but seat, the police seat, which is Wayne. I'm suggesting we just do a 1-year term with Wayne. The 2nd seat, which is the merchants representing Mikhail, I'm recommending we do a 2-year term for Mikhail. And then the 3rd was Sharon, representing the mayor's position, would be a 3-year. That's my thoughts, and I'll leave it up to y'all.
So the people who represent mayor, merchants, and police, like, are they supposed to get with them and meet with them, and they come to meet?
Yeah, ideally that's it, but
Yeah.
in my experience, the police commission only meets during, sit in on the hiring and sit in on adverse action against a police officer, which has happened once or twice since I've been mayor. So, do they regularly meet, Patty?
You know, I think it's, I do remember at one point when we was trying to get on the agenda for the police department, because I think they meet once a month before court.
Yeah.
And so I do know he tried to get in to talk to them and give them an update or and let them know that this commission was available should anyone need that.
It's a good question, David. They don't have a regular agenda and a regular meeting date. They have agenda 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They just abiding by code during adverse actions and hiring.
So if do we need to go through the whole process of?
Each one individually?
So it would be the normal nomination process. The chair will open up nominations for seat number one, representing the police department for a one-year term. And then hopefully somebody will mention.
Can I suggest we go 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3?
It's up to you
Years.
guys. I was just trying to figure out a way to
Yeah.
get us there.
Yeah, I mean, one's not very much.
Yeah, so why don't, when I open up for nominations for, let's say. The police seat, which will be, and I'll state specifically, so the minutes will reflect the 2-year term.
Yeah.
Okay, so the chair's gonna open up nominations to fill vacancy on the police commission to represent the police. This will be a 2-year term. Nominations are now open.
Nominate Wayne Bishop.
Any other nominations?
Second?
Nominations are closed. Roll call, Storm?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Christian?
Yes.
Yes.
And I, yes.
And that would be a seat expiration date of June 8th, 2022.
2028.
We get
Correct.
that for that.
Do we want to make it June 8th though?
So,
Or,
June, so.
yeah.
What do you want to do, Kevin? What do you suggest?
Last time it was May 8th because that was when the meeting was.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, it was May.
I have it end at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I think it's probably better.
The overseas been trying to get everything kind of fitting a little better instead of having 1,000 different options. Can we get the same date, like the end of the year?
June 30?
Fiscal year or calendar year.
We've been doing calendar
Calendar.
year, but, you know, since police commission really doesn't fit into with all the rest of the committees and commissions the same way anyway, maybe the 1st of July
Yeah.
would be better.
All right, July 1. All right, do we need to amend the, we're not.
So why don't we say a term expiring July 1 instead of a 2-year
2020.
term? Yeah, 2028.
Okay,
So name the land.
That's
Would
good.
expire the last day of June.
yes.
So it starts on the 1st of July.
Okay.
All right, Chair will open up nominations for the merchant representative on the police commission. This will be a 3-year term ending June 30,
2029.
2029. Chair is now open up for nominations. We have a nomination, Jesse.
Becca Elzaleka.
Other nominations? Nominations are closed. Storm?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Christian?
Yes.
Yes, and Mayor votes yes. Thank you. Chair will open up nominations for representing the mayor. This will be a 4-year term expiring June of
30.
2030.
2030.
Nominations are now open. Storm?
I nominate Sharon Spritz.
Is there other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are now closed. Storm?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Christian?
Yes.
Evan?
Yes.
Greg votes yes. Nominations closed. Thank you. Word Commission, general report from the PWA. Okay.
Okay, am pleased to report that our town boil water this month is calculated was just over 33%. I don't think we've seen anything that low in quite a while. Maybe
No water in the ground.
since I've been here. So that's that's been good news. We've been quite busy with the meat project, meeting with some of the neighbors, meeting with PATC, with Potomac Edison, and all the rest, trying to get that all hammered out. But all those, that stuff all seems to be moving forward for us. The vendor has been to the plant and has at this point, I think they refer to commissioned all of the meters that
have been delivered. And that essentially, as they go through each one, and they essentially turn it on. So they're powered up, they're ready to go. So they've been doing that work. I believe that we'll be in town this week to work on the collector on the tanks. And the piece that needs to be done there is it needs a trench. Where the cable is going to run from the tank over to, we do have a conduit that has already been trenched and will run to where we're going to connect power. They just have to get it from the tank to that short run to the entrance to the existing conduit. On Gilbert Street, we just got through, well, actually, I'll say this morning, we did the tie-in to Washington Street. And so that connection is made. They set the valve actually outside of the state highway right away. So if we have to get to it and do any work with it, we will not be required to do a permit, which helps in the long run. Keeps it out of the street as well, out of the main thoroughfare. So that work was completed overnight. We did not have any little hiccups with any of that. Water was restored to all of our customers by 1:30 this morning. We are under a boil water notice. We have, Jacob has drawn the sample for the bacteriological test that has been delivered to the lab. We hope that we will anticipate that we will have a all clear result from the lab sometime, probably mid-morning tomorrow. So we'll get that out in the robocall. We did have a few complaints, but that's to be expected. I think the notifications went extremely well. Kathy headed all that up. We had door flyers to everybody affected. I personally visited all of the vendors downtown and delivered the flyer and spoke to somebody pretty much in every establishment, let them know what was coming. Despite that, we did have someone who angrily called 3 times this morning and hung up on us each time. When we tried to explain why, she maybe didn't get the robocall herself directly. But all that went extremely well. Actually, Jacob and I were quite pleased when we figured out that we could actually turn the water off. So, and that is quite honestly, that's a challenge, so we had the whole crew there and all the rest. We did a lot of work ahead of time. But, to watch that water continue to flow out of that pipe for 45 minutes, it's a little bit harrowing. But we did, I think we've learned from when we had to shut the water off at Polk Street with TerraWorks. We had a safety incident and had an episode. I think we learned through all that. We got the water off. We were able to test and make sure that the line was depressurized before anybody got in and did the work. So we are continuing to do what we can. So far, we haven't dropped any balls, but we're trying. All right.
Yeah, I wanted to, you guys did an excellent job with communication on the water cutoff. I don't know how, but I had to become the switchboard for every complaint in town. And I got almost nothing, we had water at the house already set aside just in case balls got dropped. They weren't. It was really smooth. And thank you.
Yeah, no, like I said, Kathy spearheaded that. We made assurances to Mayor Higdon last Tuesday, actually last Monday, that they would be alerted because we're doing nighttime work in order to get that approved by their council, by the mayor. One of the conditions was to make sure that, door hangers were going, at least folks in Bolivar, were going to be delivered to everybody who would be around the noise zone, as well as having their water done. And Kathy jumped in on it, and she delivered most of them.
That's a big.
Actually, no, let me take that back. There are 2 things. One is the PSD stepped in for us last week. I want to say it was either Thursday or Friday morning. and they delivered a number of door hangers for us. And then I think, well, both Eddie and Spencer. So that was a big help. And then the other thing I didn't mention we've done, we did have a week ago Saturday, we had a demonstration working with the Friendship Fire Department. They brought one of their pumper trucks up to Prospect Ave. They hooked the truck up to the hydrant that's on Prospect Ave. That was coordinated by one of the residents up there. We had, I don't know if we had 8 to 10, people in attendance. And I was able to shoot a brief video showing that, the plume of water that basically was dousing one of our tanks. I think fireman who was heading all that up told me he was able to achieve, I think it was 750 gallons per minute, which was, he said, down here typically without a boost, they'll get about 500 or so gallons per minute out of a hydrant. So they're down around here, not in Lower Town, down around here. So they were quite satisfied with, well, firemen quite satisfied with that. I think most of the residents were quite satisfied with that. Again, we had a few that continued to insist that I should install a pump next to that hydrant, just for that hydrant to boost the pressure, and that they know people in Washington and they can get the money to do it. All right. Before we will do it.
All right.
Here. So that was, the firemen felt that it was good exercise for them. They hadn't done this in a while. They have asked us or recommended that we raise that hydrant about 3 feet. So I'm looking at what we need to do to buy that part so that we can boost the hydrant up. And the reason for that is that they have to hook it to the truck with a rigid hose. And it took them a little while to get all the pieces of the rigid hose together because the hydrant sits as low as it sits to the ground. It was tough for them to get in and hook it in. So
That's good.
we will see if we can, well, we will, look into and acquire, the part that we need. And, we'll raise the hydrant up. The plan is that we will raise the hydrant to 3 feet. That will allow them to, hook up a little bit quicker. But that was also, that event was, very much thanks to Friendship Fire, because they were the ones that had to get the equipment up there, get people, and endure the incessant calls from those who eagerly wanted to see it happen. So,
Thank you, Steve. I know, Steve, you've been up against the wall lately, and I appreciate Bessie making some comments. And for the record, I will say that Lynn and I went to Washington, D.C., and we had dinner in a restaurant in Washington, D.C., and our waiter's name was Charlie. So I know people in Washington.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Treasurer's reports, review and approval of financial reports, April 2026.
Is there nothing for D2 and D3?
The commission?
Well, I didn't see Mike here.
Mike's not here. Mike
Three
is,
was
And
We dropped 4.
and we have four.
Pushed
So
4
we're
on the treasurer.
We're on the treasurer
on the
report.
treasurer.
All right, so this is,
It's done with fine. I didn't realize until now what you meant earlier about it being numbered incorrectly.
all right, so we're looking at revision 6 for fiscal 26. This closes April. Yeah,
Financial reports?
not what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
reporting, this is revision 6 that you're in the budgeted part. This is revision 6, 83% of the year closes April.
Right.
Our income less reserves is $1.3 million. And so we're at 100% there of what we projected on revision 6. Operating expenses are at
$165,000, or about 88.7%. Some budget line items that are shared with water tend to be a little faster during this quarter of the year until the shared disbursement is made, so you won't see that till you look at June numbers. In the police and financial office wages, some of that's running heavy due to the short staffing that we're experiencing. And these will all be addressed in revision 7 that you will experience later on. In the water, you're looking at revision 1. Revision 2 was approved in May. Our overall income is at 78%, and customer billings is 75%, which is 2% lower, 2% closer to budgeted than it had been for a while. So that creep is looking better. The expenses are 72.5%, and again, in the wages for office, you'll see the weight of hours to compensate for shaft shortages in other areas. This is also where you have a shared wage. You have shared wages with the general fund as well. So again, that little fluctuation kind of looks funny at this time of year. There are a few areas that are running high in expenses, but that should fall within the normal range when you pick up revision 2 next month when you look at May numbers. Questions in specific?
I move to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Is there a second? Second one, Jess. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0, Kevin.
All right, so invoices, they're sitting on the table. If anybody wants to see that specifically, off a lot of that did what you approved last month for disbursement. Just so happened the timing put it at the table here, so went through with that. You've got that one that I emailed you about, and another one for the water department. Any questions? Okay.
I move to approve the invoices and purchases as submitted.
Second from Jesse. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Opposed? 6-0.
All right, next thing is revision 7 proposed for fiscal 26. In this revision, we are increasing the overall budget by 4%, or $103,900. The data that you see in there for April is final data based on financials that you have, and that I think it says proposed, so I apologize for that. Budget and Finance also reviewed the close of May numbers, which are not official, but in order to make sure we were accurately projecting to the end of June, they reviewed those in conjunction with April. So the big significant pushers on your income are B&O tax. As of the end of May, we have received over $266,000. State municipal tax, we have received $351,000, and we will not receive any more before the end of the year. So that's a set number. And parking meter revenue end of May is sitting at $217,000. So your increment up to June includes a conservative month over the year. Expenses, primarily we're adjusting wages and expenses to close out the year to reflect current staffing and expenses that will remain fixed until the end of the year. The increase in projected income has allowed our contingency fund to rise to $222,798, which is approximately $60,000 over the originally planned fiscal 26 budget. So we've used that to make adjustments throughout the year and kind of shows the effect of the conservative approach to the budget all along, and we've been able to bump that up throughout the year. So any specific questions or anything you want to look at intentionally in there? Okay. Declaration. Anything to on this one?
You want me to read the?
I don't have it anymore, so I'm
Okay.
going to read it.
I didn't know if you had a copy.
No.
Okay, so it's a resolution at a regular session of the municipal council held June 8, 2026, the following order was made and entered. The revision of the levy estimate budget of the town of Harpersbury, West Virginia, the following resolution was offered. That subject to approval of the state auditor as ex officio chief inspector of public offices, the municipal council does hereby direct the budget be revised prior to the expenditure or obligation of funds for which no appropriation or insufficient appropriation currently exists, as shown on budget revision number 7, a copy of which is entered as part of this record. and this is a roll call vote.
Yeah, I move to approve general fund budget fiscal year 26 revision 7 S.
Is there a
Second.
second on the motion? Second, David, discussion. All those in favor of the motion to
It's
approve?
roll call.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Storm D. Costanzo,
Yes.
Jesse Melton,
Yes.
David Simmons,
Yes.
Christian Petroconis,
Yes.
and I vote yes, Mayor.
Yes. Motion carries by roll call vote.
So moving on to number 2, which is the distribution system phase 1 WDA grant resolution 18. I'd like to let Kevin read a resolution and share the funds, and I'm here to read this time. Tried to figure out if there was a way I could do it in tandem, but I think it would be. So this is resolution 18 of the town of Harpers Ferry approving invoices relating to construction and other services for the water project and authorizing payment thereof. Whereas the town of Harpers Ferry has reviewed the invoices attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference in relation to the construction of the water project funded by the Water Development Authority, PECG Fund, and CNB Construction Trust Funds and funds as follows. None of the items for which payment is proposed have been requested from another source. Each item for which the payment is proposed is to be paid is or was necessary in connection with the project to constitute the cost of the project, that each of such cost has been otherwise properly incurred. That payment for each of the items proposed is due and owing. Now therefore be it resolved by the town council of Harpers Ferry that the payment of the attached invoices summarized below are hereby authorized and directed. This will lead to GD&F from CNB funds $3,233.44 and to Greenridge Contractors $16,195.15 for a total of $19,428.94, all from CNB funds, adopted by the town of council of the town of Harpers Ferry, meeting held on the 8th of June, 2020.
I move to approve distribution system phase 1 WDA grant resolution number 18S.
Second from David, discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve? Opposed?
I didn't.
Motion.
I thought we were gonna do a roll call.
This one doesn't.
Oh,
Big call for me.
If you'd like.
no. Takes too long.
Okay, and moving on to, for the water meter project, this is resolution number 2 of the town of Harpers Ferry approving invoices relating to construction and other services for the water meter project and authorizing payment thereof. Whereas the town of Harpers Ferry has reviewed the invoices attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference in relation to the construction of the water project funded by the U.S. EPA CG funds and the West Virginia Governor Grant funds, and finds as follows. That none of the items for which payment is proposed have been requested from another source. That each item for which payment is proposed to be paid is or was necessary in connection with the project and constitutes the cost of the project. That each of such costs has been otherwise properly incurred. That payment for each of the items proposed is due and owing. Now therefore be it resolved by the town of Harpers Ferry that the payment of the attached invoices as summarized below are hereby authorized and directed. Portaline is the vendor from the EPA, $276,791.50, and from the Governor Grant Funds, $69,197.88, for a total of $345,989.38. Adopted by the Council of the Town of Harpers Ferry at a meeting held on the 8th of June, 2026.
I move to approve fiscal year 24 CDS distribution system phase 2 water meters and approval with resolution number 2 as submitted.
Second on the motion to approve, second Christian, discussion. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Opposed? Motion 6-0. Yes.
And then we had, I don't know if we need to do this.
Okay. Oh, the executive session will go again.
Yeah. We'll do
Yeah.
the executive session. Discussion and action regarding FY26 CDS distribution system phase 3.
Yeah, I'm happy to report that we had our initial meeting with EPA. Our engineers from GD&F joined in on the call, so everybody's up and running to speed, along with Region 9, of course. There are things, there's a lot of paperwork that needs to come together, and that's getting moved around in the right direction. And we are primarily waiting for GD&F to finalize the updated drawings from the original WDA project that we found in Lackland. Done a decade ago. So that's going to probably take until about end of July, and that will then kick off when we start moving towards going out to bid. So far, I don't see any big stumbling blocks. Just keep your fingers crossed, things keep moving along, and hopefully we'll get this moving shortly.
Question for Debbie on that? Discussion action regarding maintenance and management contract.
So Green Ridge is on in many ways, including Lake Fillmore. They require a bond to perform work for their on-call services, and that's around $2,500. And they've asked if we would be able to fund that. This is something that, in hindsight, probably should have been baked into this contract that we have for the on-call services. So I moved to pay up to $2,500 to Green Ridge for the bond related to its on-call services for the town.
Second on the motion, second from Jesse. Discussion.
Help me understand the bond.
So the bond is what secures the quality of work and everything to Green Ridge. If we have any problems, it requires a date. It's what we would be going back to them for if there were any problems.
Right.
I did just review this with our water attorney. He said there's no reason not to do this, and like Storm said, going forward, we'll probably incorporate it in.
And they would have put it in their bid and charged us for it anyway to get the bond, right? Is that basically what I'm
They
thinking?
could do that, yeah.
It's usually, we would spec it in the requirement, it'll be baked
Right.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's how it has been handled with the other things. This was a separate contract, so.
Okay, makes sense.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve? Secretary.
Who made the second on that?
Jesse.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion action regarding waterworks vehicle.
Yeah, I'll take that on. I kind of was asked to do this, I guess, by our finance department. The finance and budget department felt that the Ford Maverick about the best vehicle for the town, and I can verify that that is probably correct. This vehicle is a unibody pickup truck, not a big heavy duty truck. It's a light duty truck, 5-passenger with a small 4.5-foot bed in it. It's maximum payload 1,500 pounds. It's a 4-cylinder hybrid engine. We'll get up to 40 some miles per gallon, 42 city, 33 highway. It's a front wheel drive. Can tow up to 2,000 pounds. It's got all the nice stuff on the base model. I think that's the only one we need. It's got air conditioning, got power windows and power windows and power tailgate, power door locks, remote keyless, and there's a picture in the back, has cruise control and has some safety features on it, which I think are useful, lane keeping assist and pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking. There's a photo of the vehicle. It has a nice, well thought out bed. It's not large, but they can carry tools in it and move up to 5 people in the truck. Bottom line, it's called the Maverick XL. That's the base model. It's kind of geared to municipalities. I think it's got the best fit for budget-wise and operational needs for our water department. And according to Jesse, the agreement that we can get through Ford Motor Company, through their finance arm, the agreement's structured as a 60-month lease with a $1 buyout. And so it acts like a loan, but it's legally classified as a lease. It's structured to comply with encumbrance rules that many local governments must follow. And the agreement includes an appropriations clause that allows the lease to be terminated upon payment of a penalty fee. So that's one of the reasons that most municipalities use Ford vehicles, because of this type of finance structure. Right now, these hybrids are very scarce, especially in these low-end models. They're almost none on stock. They're usually ordered, but there might be some somewhere in the country we might be able to find, and then we might be able to ship it here to West Virginia. You can also order the vehicle. I don't know how quickly we need the vehicle. I remember our police cars took up to 2 years.
Yeah, but they're special.
Well, you never know today what's going on with stuff. Yeah, it could be a while. We may have to pay up to MSRP, though this is a base vehicle, so there's very little margin in these. So dealers aren't really crazy about them at all. They rather sell the upscale models of that version. They have a lot of upscale versions of it. They get limited allocations, so we may have to kind of step up. We're not going to get it like $500 over invoice or something. It's going to have to be a few bucks, maybe more, but we'll still put it out for bid. I think it best fits our needs. The model also has high fuel economy, which will reduce our long-term operating costs. So I know costs are important, but also getting the right vehicle in a timely manner is also very important. So that's my analysis of this particular vehicle. Question.
What do they lug around? Like how? What are they?
They're basically going to be putting in pump, like shovels. And,
okay.
I mean,
nothing, no bigger.
Nothing. It's a small bed. It's 4.5 feet.
Yeah.
It's just small.
They don't have a need for a bigger bed, is what I asked for. I'm asking.
We'll see, because we've already helped buy them a really large 1-ton Chevy.
Chevy?
And we got a dump truck.
Well, they said a compact car would do. The Maverick is the smallest vehicle that Ford makes in the United States.
Yeah, and it was also Motor Trend's truck of the year. I mean, it's a
small vehicle they make.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So it can fit in tighter spots. I mean, there's an advantage to having a smaller vehicle for the kind of work that they do. It can tow up to 2,000 pounds. But I don't think this will ever tow. It's just basically we have the big truck to do that. So this will move parts. They ran these trucks to death, the other ones, because they were used for reading meters. Now, obviously, we probably won't be doing that anymore. But there's a lot of other light duty uses for that vehicle.
So with the lease, I mean, you will not be encumbering next administration, and if they want to, they can just break the lease.
Right, he was discussing that there is a mechanism in there that allows for that.
There's an appropriations clause that's specifically built for municipalities to do.
If you want to buy it, it's like a little under $30,000. But if you want to do this lease thing, cash flow wise, and talking to Jesse, it would make good sense for the town.
Yeah, that was my question, is under this arrangement, obviously, it would depend on the lease term, and the vehicle itself, but if it would fit within the Waterworks budget.
Yeah, I think I gave you the number, which I don't know the top of my head.
$700 some.
710, something like that.
That I baked into already starting this year, so if it fits that, then.
If you look at the holdback, if we're going to take off
the lease amount
like a monthly amount holdback to fund the outright purchase of a vehicle, it doesn't make good sense to not lease the thing. Consider the amounts of money involved.
Jesse and Christian, what are you asking the council approval to put this out?
Yeah, I say we put it out to bid, but we have to visit with a larger commercial Ford dealer, not your normal Ford dealer.
Yeah. So
with a big one.
Deb has a line on that in the process. We preliminary talks with Ford about how to go through this process. So it would be, the council would approve the forwarding of the lease process. Be somebody, going to the dealer with the spec, and because it's all done through the dealer, and then and going from there.
I move that Harpers Ferry Waterworks pursue and secure a Ford Maverick for its operations through a structured lease.
Can I modify the XL model?
Maverick, well, figured if we'll throw in a really fancy.
No, that's the cheap. That's the low end vehicle. You want if you don't get that, you won't get the hybrid engine. And you want the hybrid engine because it gets a lot better gas mileage.
XL right on the end.
Put that XL right in there.
You good on that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, second on the motion, second from Christian. Discussion. David.
So where does this land in the budget? Like, where do we?
There's a capital expense for auto in the Waterworks budget, and when it came to light that when you approved retiring the other budget and we revised revision 2, I added in payments according to what they just said.
$110
a month, beginning in this fiscal year and then extending into next fiscal year.
Which we haven't been paying.
Right.
Well,
it was only like 2 or 3 months worth.
And this was precipitated because of the very expensive repairs that were going to be needed to the Dodge.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Discussion action regarding spending approval for town hall HVAC repair and file cabinet.
Yeah, you can walk into the next room and see for yourself that the air conditioning needs repair. That's really the whole story. I moved to pay up to $1,550.51. Shenandoah Air Conditioning and Heating for HVAC repair at Town Hall and 440 building maintenance.
Second on the motion, second from Christian, discussion. All those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, 6-0.
Second item is the filing cabinet. This would be a fire resistant cabinet or cabinets for a number of purposes, including all collection related items as well as other critical documents for the town. And Budget and Finance went over this today, and there's a question of how large the cabinet should be. And what we arrived at and what the number is for a 4-unit cabinet that would meet the specs of the recorder's office as well as town hall's needs. So I moved to spend up to $2,200 for fire resistant cabinets for town hall out of 341 materials supplies.
Second on the motion to approve, second from David, discussion.
Yeah, what kind of weight are we talking about and where's it gonna be?
So I believe it is going to be in this closet, and it was cleared by the OCL. It would be fine.
If it doesn't work there, it'll be on the ground.
Lord, agree.
Any other discussion? All
Not a
those in
safe.
favor of the motion?
It's not gonna be buying a safe, are we?
All those in favor of the motion?
It is a safe.
Opposed, 6-0.
Star, we have the next one's on the chart.
Yes. Discussion action regarding spending approvals, flip flop, 4th of July, et cetera, Storm.
Yes, lightning round. So the first one is flip-flop kickoff, which occurred and was pre-approved for spending. And this is reimbursing expenses for that event. So I moved to pay $452.70 for the flip-flop kickoff from 402 Economic Development.
Second on the motion, second from Jesse. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion? 6-0. Storm.
For the 4th of July event coming up, this is 2 items. One is for the Roarsville brass band, $300. And the other is for tent rental. And I moved to pay $300 for the brass band and up to $350 for tent rental out of 906 Arts and Humanities for the 4th of July.
Second on that motion, second Christian, discussion. All those in favor of that motion? Opposed, 6-0.
Now, the summer concert series, we heard from Zach about this. So I moved to spend up to $2,000 for the 2026 summer concert series out of 906 Arts and Humanities.
Second on that motion, Jesse, discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed, 6-0.
And this last one is new. Well, it's an ongoing item. These are the steps at Zachary Taylor in Washington. And we talked about this. We need to be, the wording of this is very precise to ensure that that this is a repair. Otherwise, there's door number 2 for this project. I moved to pay up to $2,500 to repair the steps at Zachary Taylor and Washington Streets on written confirmation designating that this repair will be like for like, include like for like repair of the adjacent sidewalk segment, and that the bid must be signed and dated by the contractor. That's the motion.
Second on that motion, second from Jesse.
So, what's the concern? What's the like for like concern there?
If we were to modify anything having to do with public safety, it would be subject to ADA. And that is a complex.
That is very true.
When they came through to do the sidewalk curb cuts for ADA, they didn't touch that one because mostly what they would have to have done, basically regrade half
And it's also the lack for lack ensures that we're looking out for the historic preservation here, because it is an old sidewalk. It's weird and wonky, and it's a sort of a highlight, and we want that to be preserved as a weird wonky highlight.
Is there a weird way we could put a rail on it, a handrail?
Not really. We're not. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, okay.
If we're preserving it, it's supposed to be preserved.
And that would trigger ADA. We modify it.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, motion carries 6-0.
Town website, that's moving forward. Jesse?
So we have provided the vendor with a bunch of information based off standardized questionnaire. We have provided them with files, images, color information for the website, and they are doing their website development work. The next step in this is the site map, which I have spoken with several of the key stakeholders within the town and have a good feel for what we need. And so that'll be added in with the site map. And, we'll be talking with the actual developers, engineers here in the next couple of weeks to move that along. So it is happening. Yep.
Any questions for Jesse on that? Okay. ORC, Ordinance Review Commission or Committee Report. Kevin?
Okay, I don't have much of a report. We're unable to meet right now because Chris is out of town, and so when he comes back, we'll be planning our next meeting.
Can you not meet with two?
We can, but I just feel like there's only
Can't do it without him. This is good. He really is.
I'd rather wait for
I'd
that.
rather wait. We defer to Chris.
Discussion and action regarding second and final reading of ordinance 2026-01 business district amending permitted uses. Kevin?
Okay, so this is, as you said, ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance to amend uses allowed in the business district. And this is second and final reading.
Motion to approve.
Second on the motion. Second from Christian. Discussion.
Yeah, this is the one I didn't see last time. I was going to vote against it because I didn't even look at it. So this is really my first reading, but I recognize that was my fault with the email not refreshing.
Do you want a summary?
No, I got
it from the original. It's
so yeah. So the only addition is in residence in, right? So it's being added to the
It's 1312.02A2.
A2, right? Yeah, that's what it changes. So I think when we say a restaurant provided any such structure shall be at least 25 feet from a residence, I feel like we're overlooking like outdoor seating, which could actually be more of a burden on someone who lives next to this restaurant. And it needs to have some kind of language that, like, I look at like the Snail, and they have outdoor seating, and they're next to a residential lot theoretically because it's zoned that way, but it's not a residential lot. But let's just say that it was, and someone lived there, and they were that, I don't know. There's a bridesmaids party or something. I don't know. Pick your crazy people who want to make noise, but bridesmaids get loud, so they I feel like 25 feet should include that area. Like the 25 feet buffer should include that outdoor area. That's where I'm.
So you want to move? So the original ordinance had it to the property line.
Well, right.
So that's what you're asking to move it back to.
No, I'm saying you have to put your property. If you put your outdoor area, I want your outdoor restaurant. I want your restaurant area to be represented not by the structure of the restaurant. It's where your people are going to be. So you're like right now, the way it reads is your restaurant. It says any structure shall be at least 25 feet from the property line. I feel like the outdoor area needs to be that distance from the property, it says from the next residential structure, right? Is that what it says? It says restaurant. provide any structure shall be at least 25 feet from a residence, right? So they're saying, this says the structure of the restaurant needs to be 25 feet from the house.
Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
I think that the intent here is the restaurant should be 25 feet from the house, and the restaurant is not just the restaurant structure. That's what I'm getting at. Because that's the impact. The 25 feet is because we want to minimize the impact to the neighbor. And to me, I don't get, I mean, if it's a restaurant and they're quiet inside, it doesn't really bother you. What's going to bother you is going to be somebody eating outside and carrying on and making noise while you're out on your deck. That's what I'm trying to say. That makes sense?
I get it, but in practical terms, I don't think there's even the property that currently has a structure on it that this would affect. And if you were to buy a lot that doesn't have a structure and it's next to a commercial property, I don't know what the expectation should be that could happen.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but the problem is that you're essentially ruling out outdoor seating.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
Ruling out what?
Outdoor seating.
Seating would be gone.
And that, you know,
I don't know if that's a
yeah,
good idea.
Yeah, it's just that these are unique properties, right? So this is a business, like outdoor seating down in Lower Town, fine, right? But I'm talking about outdoor seating where you're right next to a residence.
Well, Lower Town's a commercial anyway.
Yeah. But the edge of the Lower Town is not commercial. You know what I mean? Like the very edge of they're probably near residences. So do you want to protect the noise there? I feel like.
And we're only talking part of the year. I mean, restaurants are usually open
Yeah.
all year.
I feel like it's a benefit to have nice places like the Snail that can sit outside. And, you know, you can't guarantee anything in the future, but the types of businesses that would be attracted to restaurants to do it, they'd be attracting wedding parties and the rest. But I don't see it as scary. I think it's nice.
Any other discussion?
Have you, one more thing?
Yeah.
Because I know the barn was a big issue for like Hardy and actually Hap even, and they're more than 25 feet away from there. So what I'm trying to say is I've heard their complaints from something that's more than 25 feet from their property. So I don't want to be short-sighted here. I think
the barn was a problem because it's in another town.
I think it's
no,
but there's a noise ordinance. That's what their issue was, noise.
Right.
And we do have a noise ordinance.
If the barn was in Harper's Ferry, we could have dealt with that promptly. The fact that it was in another municipality that created the problem.
but we would be able to enforce a noise ordinance here.
It's on the hilltop. It's in the agreement.
Yeah. What wording would you propose?
So I was going to say after the word structure, it says provide any such structure and any outdoor areas used by customers shall be at least blah, blah, blah.
Including the parking lot?
Well, I'll reword it. I mean, I don't mean the parking lot. I certainly don't mean that. I'm talking about where the people are going to congregate.
All right, you've heard the concerns. All right, we're still in discussion. Chair will call for all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries, 5-1. Discussion action regarding second and final reading of ordinance 2026-03, public use and conservation, creating the new public use and conservation zoning category and allowed uses. Kevin?
Right, yeah, this is ordinance 2026-03, an ordinance to create the new public use and conservation zoning district and delineate permitted uses. And this is second reading.
I move that we approve ordinance 2026-03.
A second.
Second, David, is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, 6-0.
And thanks again, Zach. This came from planning, this ordinance did, and it's a big thing for the future. It's important.
You have updated zoning map for the law.
Okay, no, haven't we done with you? Okay.
What about 04?
That one was removed.
Oh,
We have more
I
work.
missed that. Okay, sorry.
Going through it. Yeah, but waiting for Chris.
David, do you have anything to report on?
A few things. So we're in the process of, like we were last time, we're looking at, job descriptions. We all have homework and we're getting together next week and hopefully we'll get those closer. It's not and then of course the mayor just gave me 20 more things that I gotta look at. So thanks, Mayor. And then, we're also looking at hiring procedures. I sent, a hiring procedure to Pat and Deb to look over. So we'll have, hopefully I get comments from them and then at our next meeting we'll look at those as well. And, we're proposing to have the, water clerk handle the water company piece and the town clerk basically handling the town hall hiring piece. How it's set up right now. So, that's it.
Business discussion and action regarding establishing a procedure / policy to track action items resulting from town council discussion.
Here's one of these guys now.
That was.
What?
Did you put that on you?
No, I didn't do that. I did the Maverick. I'm the Maverick.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's a joke.
Take a look at that. Okay, here's the issue, and I don't just see it with the town council. We just had an issue today with the parking committee. We have great meetings and we make great decisions. And then 3 weeks later, we say, who was going to implement this and what time frame did we give them? And then we come back here and we all reminisce about what the decision was. Now, I throw this around with Debbie, and Patty, I don't know if I had a chance of discussion with you, but evidently, sometime in the past, this type of a form was used. And Patty, or what's the history on
We both talked about
it? When we left?
back in 2019.
Okay, so.
And the papers would be sitting and a stack of them would sit on the table. Nothing was done with them.
I actually have a document from 1898 that is almost exactly. So the town's done it before.
Or we can can this, and then we can go about our business.
No, we need to do this. We need to.
For it.
You know, we,
It's a good idea, Mayor.
what did you guys use? How did it work before?
Before, when Debbie and I came on board and we were looking at how to help move things along in the office. This was one of the frustrations, was the council would make all kinds of great decisions, and then you never hear from them again. So Debbie would say, gee, did they approve that invoice, or am I supposed to write that check, or whatever? We came up with this form, and you're welcome to revise this form in a manner you think might be more helpful. But we had a council member agree that she would sit there with the staff and she would fill these out as motions were made, and then she would leave them on the table. The next day we would come in, we'd sort through, we'd say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. We got things moving. And then after a while, staff just kind of, they stay blank. And then COVID hit.
Yeah, I'd say that, I think it's a great idea and help a lot, but it is very much the administrative burden of doing it. I would say if we can find a way to do this electronically, if it comes to this.
And that's why I sit here and do all of this and not go.
And if there was a way even that the items were on there ahead of time, you know.
From the
or-
agendas,
Right.
yeah,
from the
yeah.
agenda, we were like filled out ahead of time as to what, and then what, you know.
But this is very basic level project management.
Yep.
And it should not be that hard for us to figure out what we want. And you know, we're already paying for SharePoint and all these other awesome things that we're not making use of. So I think that the path forward would be to look at the software we're already paying for. Because we do have Planner or whatever the project is now, we have that, you know, and we have other things too. Let's look at that and how we could use.
Because my problem with Jesse is, I think Debbie just mentioned to Patty, if we do old school approach, that means somebody sitting next to Debbie or somebody sitting here is just monitoring and writing out.
You can hide in there. You
Yeah.
can't hide if it's visible and everybody can say, you know, so and so, the mayor's not doing his job. Say so here on the church.
So this will be a classic example. We're gonna make a decision, but what is the decision we're gonna make? Who's got that decision and when's that decision gonna be made?
So what is the software we have?
We have,
Do we have, is it Microsoft Planner? Is that what it is?
yeah, it's Planner now. It used
Just
to be
Planner,
Planner,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what we use.
Yep.
Okay, because then so what will happen is each of us have an email. If you get assigned this, you'll get a ping, and now you're assigned to this task from
Who's the ping from?
our
Whoever sets
ghost
it up.
inside our machine, whoever that is, whoever set it up, the person who sets up the task. So we got to figure out who's gonna go ahead and set up these tasks,
Right.
right? That's number one. So who's the person? Is that too much burden for you, Pat, to do?
Figure that out.
We gotta figure it out. Okay. And then she'll say, you know what, this was the IOC, so I'm gonna ping Storm, Christian, and Dave, and then I'll copy myself or something. I don't know.
We can have AI do it.
No.
No.
We'll
So,
go.
then this meeting, like Dave, Dave and Christian and Storm are gonna do the water clerk job description. They're gonna do, maybe there's 3 things on this particular one. And they're gonna meet the 15th and then present it to the council on the whatever. You can put dates
It could be AI.
on it.
Oh, yeah, you can tell it, create task, and it does what you tell it to. I mean, it's not.
And then,
It's approving what's actually.
so what action items of today's meeting? Give me one.
Oh, I can.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna follow up with the mayor tomorrow, and I'll write. The mayor will be writing letters to the 3 people that were put on the, police commission.
Okay,
So that's a
yeah.
task that we'll
Yeah.
follow up with.
So you can put that on a task. So he'd get assigned. He's got to write it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
He's gonna write-
does it come to you? But
We should do something, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's better than what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Patty and I tomorrow can have a, and we'll,
Go back.
not so in Debbie and.
If it can be implemented old school until we're able to do it electronic.
And we just don't have people to do that.
Yeah.
Storm, just, not now.
Yeah.
Just so-
Paper filing. Use the electronic tools if you can. I mean, yeah.
Then you have to have duplicates, because I mean, the easiest way to finish a paper job is to throw the paper away.
What they doing,
Actually, it was for the purchase of 10 all-night arc lights, which they installed at identified most of the locations between the railroad station and on up to where the various inns and resorts were on campus. Horrible lights that kept people and horses awake. And they swapped them out within 10 years being campus.
We finally got to LEDs.
Yeah.
We're on LEDs finally.
All right, council, that takes us to, new business, discussion and action regarding water department and town staffing may require executive session and collector towers. Council, based upon exemptions made in executive session, regulation 698-4 subsection 2A and subsection 2B-9 are recommending we go into executive session. So, second from just discussion going into executive session. All those in favor?
And pull in.
We are in executive session. I am authorizing police chief, finance officer, and the public works administrator.
Give you that thing.
Okay, all right, you're good to go.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion.
I move to allow a single source bid to install electricity with a data collection point at PATC if the cost is not in excess of the town's level B spending limit.
Is there a second on the motion? We have a second from Jesse. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn from David. We have a second from Storm. All those in favor of adjourning, we have